Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Tina Marie St.Cyr, and it's so great to be with you again for another episode of Light Your Life and a conversation with a beautiful soul who has surmounted all the odds and risen to a life that she loves to live. And she's going to be here to tell her story. I'm going to pull out some things that she's probably not even going to know I'm going to ask. And of course, we flow organically. It's going to be beautiful. So let me introduce Michelle Navarro. I want you to know why this person is very special to me. We have known each other for many years. It's felt like lifetimes because have you ever had that friend that you meet and you connect with and it's so right? And you just go, oh, I'm so glad this person's in my life. That's what Michelle is to me. And she's always a person that I can reach out to, even in my low moments, to help me with perspective and possibility and higher thinking, because we know we have a commitment to each other that the lower mind isn't ever going to rule our day. And she's a friend of mine that I can reach out to. And also she is a bonfire coach. And she was one of the first people whenever I decided I wanted to have this academy and this bonfire coaching method. I knew in my heart and soul that Michelle was one of us, and we were going to have so many wonderful dances together, helping and serving so many people across the globe. And I'm going to seed a couple more things about you throughout the talk that we have today, so they know a fuller picture of everything you bring to the table and who you are at the depths of your soul. So Michelle, thank you so much for being our guest here today.
Hi, I'm so grateful and happy to be here. And thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
You're awesome. And so I'm going to touch on one of your core values, which is family. So Michelle is a mom, and so I'm going to give you a little chance to boast about your boys.
Well, I am a mom, and I just think it's the greatest thing that I've ever done in my entire life. It has molded me in ways that I never even saw, and it has challenged me in ways that you're thinking any other human being and but because I love you so much. So yeah, my I'm just so I think the greatest thing that I could do is be a mom. And I say this, mom is the favorite word, my favorite word to hear. If I hear mom, and when it comes from my kids, my heart just fills with so much love and appreciation. But even when I hear it like in the grocery store with other kids, I hear mom, I'm like, yes, I'm looking around.
You're like that proverbial, I'll be your mom.
Here I am. What can I do? So yeah, that's my favorite thing in the whole wide world is just being a mother.
Yeah. And that nurturing spirit is so you. It's your identity through and through. And I love that. And I've watched you and your boys, and even with your beloved husband, Michael. I love, just the relationship that you have. It's so nurturing and so for other people. And through Bonfire Coaching, that's what we are. We're here to help other people without any judgment, without any criticisms. It's simply allowing people to develop in their own right and holding that container for them to do so. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
In fact, what had you say yes to coaching? I remember that conversation. I called you. It was an evening, and I'd been seeding it. I'm like, oh, she's one of us. She needs to come and do this training and be part of us, because I knew that you're going to help so many wonderful souls that were going to only resonate with working with Coach Michelle. And so take us to that place where you said yes to being a coach.
Yes. Well, thank you for asking. That's a good question. It really started back where you guys had a call to come see Tony Robbins, and I think it was 2015, 16,
15.
somewhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
We have a little technical
I thought,
interruption.
okay, I've heard of,
There you are. Mhm.
uh-oh.
It
Oh
stalled for a little bit. It's
no.
okay. It stalled for a little while.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead.
I'm so sorry.
But you
Okay,
said you
so
thought,
I wanted to hear what the Tony Robbins buzz was all about.
yeah.
I was like, I'm super excited. I want to go. I want to see what this is, what this is about. I heard a little bit about it and I was like, we'll see,
Mhm.
and then I got there and I was fully in, and it totally changed my life. It changed my life in ways I never could have anticipated. And I thought, holy cow, if this could happen for me and to me,
Mhm.
everybody needs a piece of this, whether it's Tony Robbins or someone else that can light that fire inside their soul to just bring out the best of who they can be. And I thought, I want to be a part of that. I
Mm,
need to be a part of that. So when you had that call
mm,
to, who wants to be a coach, I felt that
mm,
fire inside of me and I held on. I held back that fire because I was like, I just let me see what happens,
mm.
and that fire just kept screaming, yes, yes, inside of me. And so I remember that call when you called me that evening and you're like, hey, we're going to launch this thing. And I know we put this, information out there and, you haven't responded. And I'm like, yes, I want to do it. I
I
want to
love
be a
yeah.
coach.
And you tapped on something that sometimes we wait and we watch.
Mhm.
We can see, we can feel that soul's calling. We can feel that longing and that no, we have the knowing. We know, yet there's still a part of our humanness that says, you know what, hold on a second. I'm just going to wait and watch how it goes. I'm going to watch and see what happens for other people first. Right. And
So true.
what
Yeah, I
happens
believe.
for that? Hmm.
Yeah, and I was gonna add is I believe that that's part of the human being, right? We're human being, we're human doing. We just go through life connected to what we know from our past. And what's calling us is in our future. What's calling us is out here, but that's not familiar to us. So it's kind of like, I'll just kind of wait and see.
Hmm.
And so I think what coaching does for people, it allows us to help them focus on what's their calling, what's bringing them out, what is over here and not back here for them,
Yeah.
what's, the familiarity is what's done, right? Let's move into what's possible. Let's get into this beautiful thing that's waiting for you, that's calling for you. And that's what happened to me. And that's what I want to do, with
Mhm.
coaching is to help people bring them into
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
thing that's so amazing.
Would you say that it's always going to be shaky knees and it's going to, there's not going to be a time where people leap into that next unknown with fervor? It's going to feel scary, right?
Absolutely. Everything I do is shaky knees.
Hmm.
And I still have this lower mindset back here that's
Hmm.
telling me, well, you've never done it before, or, what I have that voice, but because I know the other voice
Hmm.
and I can hear that other voice, I do it with shaky knees.
Hmm.
I like, okay, my term is challenge accepted because
Hmm.
I figured, you know, the feeling of excitement and the feeling of anxiety kind of feel the same to the nervous system, right?
It's
So
true.
it's like, okay, challenge accepted. Most of the times it's shaky knees. I just try it and I do it. And then I realize, wow, I just stepped up in another level. I
Mhm.
just grew in another way that I didn't know was possible. And so that's what keeps me coming back. And even through coaching with clients,
Mhm.
you feel like you're helping them. And in many ways, they're also helping you because you're
It's true.
growing.
It's true. We do as
Yeah.
coaches, we grow too.
Yeah.
You tapped on something that I learned in my 20s, early 20s, that anxiety or fear
Yeah.
and excitement are in the same parallel. The only difference is breath. And so the anxiety or the fear state is without breath, and the excitement side is with breath. And the lady who taught me this, her name's Anne. She did an analogy of riding a roller coaster, which I love riding roller coasters. And you and I need to ride a roller coaster together. So let's go to a park when this thing all opens up. We're gonna go have some fun. So I was a crazy one in my family I was addicted to the roller coaster, and I hated it whenever they'd say you're too young or too short to get on one. I'm like, oh, higher tennis shoes, tippy toes, get on it. And I was the person that my mother did not like this, that I would ride the roller coaster with my hands up. Like I would just go, yeah, let's do this. And I'd be looking around to other people going, you guys aren't even experiencing this ride. They're like, I could hear
Yeah.
the tick, 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 tick going up the ramp, right?
Yeah.
And I could see somebody I'm riding with, like my best friend, and she is like white knuckling that bar, and her whole nervous system is just like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, let it go. Come on. And I didn't let her influence me because I was like wild abandon. If I die on this, I die on this, but this is going to
Yes.
be great.
Yeah.
And would you say that's the same between life as an analogy of the anxiety, fear state versus the excitement?
Absolutely. And I love how parallel we are because that's the same analogy that I use is, you know, fear and excitement feel exactly the same in the nervous system. And it's like riding that roller coaster, when you're getting on that roller coaster, you got all those butterfly feelings. And you're like, I'm excited,
I love
you
those
know?
butterflies.
Yeah. And then same with, walking on stage, just sitting before a bunch of people, you get that, and you label it as fear, but it's the same feeling. It's the I'm excited, but it could be I'm scared. So it's what we tell our mind is what the body's going to behave with, right? What it's going to react to. So if I tell my mind or my body, this is exciting, no matter what the shaky knees and the butterflies and all of that stuff is going on the inside, the sweaty palms and the flushed face, all that stuff. That's part of all those emotions, and how you choose to interpret it is what's going to get you to either propel or stay,
Stuck.
stuck. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. You've helped so many of our wonderful clients here at Bonfire, and I think of a couple. We won't mention names. However, there's been some that have come, and they were in that fear state, that anxiety, that I don't know what my next steps are, and not trusting themselves to take that next step, even though they knew that their soul was, evoking them in some way. They were looking for a partner to help them find clarity, and is this really where I need to go and be, so that they didn't feel like they were going to fail, right?
Yes.
So, if we were to think of some of the clients that you worked with and help them realize their destiny and their dreams and their goals, and there's so many. Like I could just see all the smiles and the high fives and, oh my God, I couldn't have done it without you. Who comes to mind, and what challenges did they present with?
Yeah, I feel like I've been so blessed with such really amazing people. Clients come in with wanting to get a job, and they feel like all they've had is this, so they don't think that they can do go to
Right.
this level, but they want this level. And so we coach through the mindset to get them to this level so that they get that job, and they get the go through the interview and they get the job, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it, this is so exciting, and I got what I asked for, and I got the vacation time, and I got all this stuff. And their lower mindset was saying, you could have never done that. But the reality of once we get them past that, terror barrier, or that feeling of I can't, and
Right.
knowing who we are and what we're made of, and being bold enough to show that beautiful essence of who we are on the inside, and anything is possible, right?
Mhm.
And so having that to come into fruition for clients is so amazing. It's so fun to watch. It's
Mhm.
so fun to see them evolve and step out of what they know to be the norm and do
Mhm.
what is calling them to do. It's so fun. It's so exciting. And I love being a part of it.
Yes, and I think I know exactly which client you're talking about. There's so many, but I her.
Yes.
And then
She's
there's
awesome.
another client that came, and it was very interesting. It was like, I know what I want,
Oh,
very
yes.
precise. I know what I want, and I know why I want it, and I know when I want it. She thought she was her own self saboteur. I just keep sabotaging this, and I don't know how I'm sabotaging it, but I know what the destiny is, and I know what I want. I just need to get myself out of the way. As you've worked with
Yes.
a lot of ladies in that regard as well.
Yes, yes. I had another amazing client, had everything lined up in her life. And she had career and her finances and everything. And, she was just looking to have the one partner that she can connect with.
Mhm.
And so we were able to do some amazing work. And she was so, doing the work is the hard part. I can help you realize things, but you have to be willing and open to do the work. And I think that's what the beautiful thing is. When people come to coaching, they're ready.
Mhm.
They're ready. They're ready. They're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm ready and open. And so, once they come through that door, they're ready to do the work, and you see the results, and they are so awesome, and they get the results they want, and they're like, oh my God. So yes, I know which client you're talking about. And she had an
She got
amazing,
married.
she did. Actually just got married through COVID, and got the
Yeah.
absolute, I mean, everything. She said every check mark off her list, he
Mhm.
was that, and
Yes.
so much more. And it's so beautiful. And for us, it was a Zoom. We had to be on Zoom, but for us to be a part of that and to watch that go down, it was like, oh, our hearts were filled with so much joy and elation, just seeing our clients excel in the level of in life the way they want. So it was
Definitely.
awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting the different things that come to the coaching table, be it career, relationship in this case,
Mhm.
and financial, overcoming financial uncertainty and debts, and then not believing in themselves to carry their worth. I remember, one of your clients, she didn't believe in her worth. She was settling for a very less than position and making ends meet, but it was a struggle.
Yeah.
And we're like, you are underselling yourself, Chica.
Yes.
And then, health goals and the spiritual goals. You've
Mhm.
helped people with so many things to overcome and to go through, and even, having people understand that their relationships and the agreements that they've had with life don't need to be the new ones. That there's always more for us, right?
Yes.
Because that's what you
Yes.
represent. I love that in you. You represent that calling for more. Let's go see. Let's see
Yeah.
what's out there. Let's dance, right?
Why not? Yes, that's exciting. That's so fun. Just as what's behind door number two? Let's see what's behind door number three.
Well, speaking of which, you've had a pretty fun life. I love, every time we have a gathering, you surprise the heck out of me. But you're so you challenge the norm, you challenge the rules. You're like, why not? Let's just go for it and see what happens. I love that wild abandon that you bring to the table. And of course, you also
Yeah.
have that settling, like, okay, let's make sure that things are settled and you're paying attention to your core values and your needs so that you're not risking, right? There's a
Yeah,
balance there, isn't there, in life?
absolutely. Yes, there's a balance. And, I think if we're not having fun in life, then you're finding that things you're getting stuck in areas, right? And so I tell, my husband and my kids, if it's so heavy that we're not having fun anymore, it's time to just drop it all and let's go do something. Let's have
Yes.
fun,
Mhm.
and in COVID, it was challenging, right? You can't just do the things that you could do. And so, but we found ways to have fun. And I think that's my way of knowing when we're not laughing every day and things are starting to get heavy. It's time to just shut it down and let's just reconnect and laugh together. And
I
I think
love
it's
that.
so important. Yeah.
I love that. I just had a visual, and it was that, you know, you said if we're not laughing every day.
Yeah.
So, and this is awareness for myself, pushing toward goals, wanting to achieve, wanting to have the check marks. It can feel like driving a car. You love cars. I want to talk to you about the cars, but driving cars, a car down a freeway at night with your headlights off and just speeding, and you don't know what's ahead of you, and you know that you're risking, but you don't know how long it's going to take before you crash, right? But that laughter every single day, laughter in our life is like this reset. It's this,
Yes.
it's like this touching of the soul that
Yes.
allows the what we're doing on a day-to-day basis to not feel so arduous or risky or challenging or frustrating, right?
Yes. Yes. It's shining that light.
Hmm.
It's refiring that light and,
Hmm.
using your analogy of driving a car without the headlights on, you know, you will crash. And so laughing is just putting those headlights on and seeing where you're at, where you're going. It's shining a light. And I think
Yeah.
that's what we need. And so
Hmm.
that's my secret. That's
Hmm.
my secret.
So
People
what
ask
are
me,
ways that you laugh every day? What are some of those things
well,
that are there?
I'm a silly girl,
Mhm.
I find ways to be silly. And of course, my dogs, I'm a dog lover,
Mhm.
and they bring me so much joy, they bring me unconditional love.
Mhm.
I usually I'll say if you lock your spouse and your dog up in the trunk for 30 minutes, who's going to be happy to see you?
When you open it back up, right?
Yes, your dog is gonna be happy to see you, right? So that's unconditional love. So I always find something that sparks joy in my heart. No matter what's going on around me, I try to find something that sparks joy and remind myself that we need to have laughter, fun, excitement, joy. And, I listen to music, I dance, I will spontaneously do something while, like, if everybody's just chilling, I'll jump up and do something silly and everybody gets like, oh, what's going on? Even my dogs, they'll jump up like, what are
What
we
are we
playing?
doing?
What's happening? And so, and that's just, you just never know what's going to happen in my house because
Mhm.
I'm going to do something to just shift the energy,
Mhm.
change the atmosphere. And so you just never know what you're
I
going to get
love
out
it.
of me.
I love that. So I know I talked about your love of cars. Sure, you have probably out of all the humans I've ever known, including all the men in my life, you have probably the greatest passion for cars that I've ever met. So, where did this develop? Where'd you get this passion for cars and all the different types of cars, right?
Yes, yes. So, and I think about that, and it goes back to, I was a young mother, and connecting with my son. I wanted to be in his world, and he could lay on the floor with a truck or a little car and just for hours with, just laying there. And I thought, wow, just to be in that world, just being lost in
Mhm.
that is so beautiful. So I think that's where it came from, is to connect with my boys. And then I realized, oh my God, this is fun. I love it. So now it's funny, but even if they can't go, I'll go to a car show.
Don't you do one? There's one like every week or something like that. You have a ritual.
There's some local shows, where people bring their classics and all that around town, at the local at Autos, which is a bird joint around here. And then there's other stuff. And then there's Coffee and Cars, which is the first Saturday of every month,
Mhm.
which is huge. Sometimes there's 5,000 cars there. I
No
mean,
way.
it's ridiculous. You just can't see it all. And it's so fun and exciting. And, it's just, passion. I've flown to Colorado so
Mhm.
I can drive a sports car through the mountains. And that was
Which one did
amazing.
you drive? Which one did you drive?
I drove the Lamborghini
Mhm.
Superleggera. It
Mhm.
was amazing. I have done an experience, NASCAR experience, NASCAR.
NASCAR? You're breaking up
I
just a little bit.
have,
Uh-huh.
it was amazing. Yeah, they put you in the whole suit and everything, and then you slide in through the window.
Mhm.
You don't open the door, you
No,
slide
there's no
in.
door.
There's
Yeah.
no steering wheel.
Mhm.
Uh, and then once, get you all strapped in with the yes, then they pop the steering wheel in. They said, flip this on, and that's the engine. The engine's literally right next to your head. And pedal to the metal, baby. Woo!
That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
it. And I love that you have this sense
Love
of
it.
adventure and this fun to yourself, and then the practicality of coaching as well to help guide people through each step of where they are, from where they are to where they'd love to be, and doing that
Yeah,
in a pace that they absorb. It's never the pace that you would see for them. It's the pace that their nervous system allows so
yeah,
that they grow at their pace, right? That's awesome.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely. And if you need a cheerleader, I'm your girl.
you are. And I know you have other contribution, because we know contribution is the highest human need. And whenever we are able to align ourselves into that way, it gives us so much fuel and energy for the becoming who we become in this world. Self-actualization ends with that greater awareness of contribution. And there's a charity that's really close to your heart. Do you mind sharing about that charity?
Yeah, so there's several, but it's all stems into helping women of human trafficking. And so human trafficking has become a really, it's not that it's become bigger, it's just there's more awareness of it.
Mm-hmm.
It has been something that's been happening kind of underground. And now there's a lot more awareness, which I'm so grateful for.
Right.
And so helping women that are trapped in human trafficking and, helping them transition out of the life and into what's normal, or basically their new normal, because their life is never ever the same. And so I do volunteer work with that, and also child advocates, and helping children that are abused. And with COVID, a lot of that has spiked because
Mm-hmm.
it's people are indoors now, closed with their abuser, and there's no way, a lot of ways for them to be able to reach out to people. So that there's been a spike in that as well. So just awareness that that's happening, and help people to look for signs and what that looks like and what they can do to help people. A lot of people don't know what to do, and they're afraid because
Mm-hmm.
it's so scary, right? It's a
Right.
scary thing. It's like, oh, that can't be happening in my neighborhood, but it's happening even in the wealthiest of neighborhoods. It's
Right.
happening everywhere. And
Unfortunately.
so just awareness and prayer. I tell people that just don't want any hands on to it. I said, just pray about it. If you feel something in your spirit about something and you just don't know how to get involved, prayer is the
Mhm.
best way to help the situation. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm a woman of great faith, and I believe in prayer.
I do too. And thank you so much for sharing that. We could talk all day. I love our connections, and I'm so grateful that we had this conversation so people can get to know the amazing Michelle Navarro and what she believes in and what she
Thank you.
stands for. And she believes in you. And so if you're looking for an amazing coach, just simply go to Bonfire Coaching and you'll get to learn everything about Michelle and how you can participate with her in the events and the talks and things coming up that she also hosts. Thank you, Michelle. You are an amazing soul, and I wish you all the best.
Mwah.
Mhm.
Love you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Till next time.
All right.